Hey everybody, it's Jonathan. How you guys doing? Can you guys hear me okay? Can you see my screen okay? Doo, 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 doo. Awesome. Good. That's good news. That's a good start. Awesome, guys. Thank you. Good, good, good. I'm doing good, Tenzin. Thank you for asking. Nice, nice, nice. Eric, thank you. Eric, that was good use of kid writing. Eric sent me some glasses saying he could see. Well done. Well done. Eric, are they going to announce a new body on that S class? I talked to Eric about Teslas. Okay, guys. So, let me give you a little overview. My name is Jonathan Rose. You guys know that. This is not a sales webinar at all. The objective is to go over the Wiretapper tool, continuing education, just to make sure that you understand how to use the tool. I want to show you how I'm using the tool, and I want to hang out with you and answer any questions that I have. I don't know. I do want to reiterate that there are no bullshit promises or whatever. What we're trying to do here is to build tools that give traders like me, like you, more edge in the market. That's all. I'm going to read a risk disclaimer, but you know, with all the nonsense out there in the financial education markets, I want to be crystal clear that this is pure trading education. I've done this for 23 years. I teach what has worked for me in the past. There's substance to this. There's never going to be, hey, buy XYZ because I just bought it and I just got out and made $2. Oh, you missed it. Sorry. Next time you'll get it. Like, okay. Everything is with intention. So trading or investing carries a high level of risk. It's not suitable for all persons. Before deciding to trade or invest, carefully consider investment objectives, level of experience, ability to tolerate risk. Honestly, the biggest mistake I see is people want to risk money without understanding what they're doing at all. If you do that, you're going to lose money. I mean, just flat out, just being as upfront with you as possible. But if you learn, if you take your time, if you're humble, you can definitely find some success. Okay, it just takes some effort. Okay, I see lots of comments. So how this is going to work, guys, is I'd like to take the first portion of class to walk you through the Wiretapper, walk you through how I use the Wiretapper, and then I'm going to make sure that we save at least 30 minutes where I open this up. We'll go over any ticker you guys want, where you guys could just throw out your favorite ticker and we'll review it. Happy to do that with everybody as well. Let me also add that the more participation from you, the better this class will be. Let me just kind of take everybody's temperature right now on a scale of 1 to 5. How are you liking the Wiretapper? How are you benefiting from it? Just like, what's the taste in your mouth from it? Kind of a 1 through 5, just to kind of see where everybody's at. And then I'll start talking as well. Right now, guys, the Wiretapper, it's a database. Really, that's what it is. It's just a database that goes back to 2016. And in this database, we have these different scans. Okay, everybody should get those scans. It's right here. I'll put this in the chat, but you also should get this in your email when you move forward with the Wiretapper. I'm just putting that in the chat. Okay, so it's a database where we have these different scans. And then behind that, there's something called a neural network that is monitoring the scans and also giving feedback so we can optimize the scans going forward. What we're working on and what we expect to deliver by Valentine's Day is a dashboard that will show us like the top 5 solar trades or the top 5 most unusual activity. And we did that by Pablo and I getting together and using and building a scoring system that scores each one of these and then adds points based upon certain things that we found are good for unusual activity, or that might take away points. So that is all of what's to come. Most of that dashboard is going to simplify the process that I'm about to do right now. Okay. What do you mean of single series? Let me just get, I'm going to stop here, answer some questions. Everything was 3, a lot of 4.5s, a lot of 5s. Stephen Tuttle, you got a 1. Stephen, I'm writing down your name and a 1 just so I can follow up with you. I don't like that you're feeling like a 1. We'll have you off that. And then Brian gave it 2. Those were the 2 low scores. Yeah, so Rick's saying info and usability is a 5 interface. That's what we're working on. Definitely, we wanted to get it out. So we wanted to get it out to you guys, and that's why it's a database right now. But again, this is being worked on by a design firm, and they are going to, what we're doing is building a heat map, and building a heat map to the names that we like the most will bubble up to the surface. Okay, Brian, it's more intuitive than you realize. It's more intuitive than you realize. So let me go forward. Also, just FYI, because we've had some questions on this, every single Sunday, guys, I share trades. And here are the trades that we share. And then on Monday, we do a live class. So there's the wiretapper, there's the trades, and then there's the live class that's on Mondays. So that's kind of like, if you don't have the trades, you're going to want to join the membership, because that gets you the trades, and it also gets you that hour live class that we do every single Monday. Okay. So the first thing that I do, is always make sure that the day before is populated. The day before has populated. John, if you didn't receive the email, please email support@mastersinTrading. Okay. So we look here to start. Something that I've been doing a lot lately is just going to the date and just looking, say, even like the last 2 days. If you just go and look the last 2 days and press search, you'll see 121 results. In order to get this lower, if you just go by symbol, then you can see I'm only checking this for January 4th and January 5th, and there's 121 results. But if you go through this, you can start to see the names that keep coming up, or that come up the last 2 times. So TZA is something that might be interesting. VXX, XBI, all these might be interesting, but there's still quite a few names to go under. So if you wanted to get the subset even lower, go down to overvalued. And overvalued is going to show you which of the names is within 90% of their implied volatility percentage. Okay, so going to overvalued, and you can see there's not nearly as many. And then if we do the same thing, but let's go to the beginning of the year, 35 results, hit symbol. And again, in the next phase of this, you won't have to do this because these names will all bubble to the surface. But actually, there's still just 2 names here because we've been closed. Here, let's try to do it a little bit further. And let's go to like December 28th. Now we have 71. Again, hit symbol. And then look at alpha. Alpha's come up 4 different times. Okay? BBBBBBY, CVM, GILD, IPOC, MUPSTH. Now these names, TAK, TAK, these names all look pretty familiar, right? These are, you know, this weekend, I was talking with Pablo and I said, Pablo, before our class on Monday, send over the unusual options names that you find interesting. And let me just show you the names that Pablo sent over. And I'm doing this because I want you to see that it's not brain surgery. If I can find his email. There we go. So this weekend, Sunday, hey, Pablo, send me over some names. 3 Bs, BBBB, Guild, MU, TAC, GNW, FUBO. So how do we get to those? I can move this to the side, but again, the names are right here. Here's the 3 Bs. There is Gilead. MU. Okay. Keep it simple. Keep it simple. I'm going to get to all your questions, by the way. I see them coming in. I just want to keep on yapping and then stop when there's a natural pause, and I'll make sure I go over all your questions. But when I'm just getting another document. Did you guys get a chance to see this video? I'm just going to share this in the chat too, because in this, there's another PDF down here. And in that PDF, I share Pablo's test account. And in Pablo's test account, he started with 5,000 and now that test account is at 13,000. And all Pablo is doing is taking these exact trades that I'm showing you. Come on, Slowpoke. Come on. You can do it. It's really a break in the action. Well, as it, I've downloaded it. Is that going to help me? So if you go here, we share all of Pablo's trades, but then if you just click here, go through and you can see, you know, how many trades Pablo is taking. And I think it's also a good exercise to go back and look, like if we look at fuel cell or fizz, just come back here and then you can see the date that he did the trade and how much, you know, what the unusual option activity was before that got him into the trade. So you just go back and you can see if that fizz trade was December 3rd, okay, well, duh, that's, you know, he probably saw a cluster here and he did it. And that's a great way to kind of reverse engineer those trades. Does that make sense? That's a good exercise to do it. And two, by the way, like newer clients or whatever, this isn't paper trading. This is 1,000%. This is just Pablo opened, you know, we're testing trades. And these are all the trades that he did. And it just happened that his account went from 5 to 30, I mean to 13 in those, 3-month period. Now, somebody made a really good point in our coaching room that I want to address. And the point in the coaching room was, out of all those trades that Pablo has, it was a small number of winners that end up having the majority effect on the P&L. Oh, cool. Daniel, thanks, buddy. What was it? I just lost my train of thought. What was I thinking? So not only, so you'll see on Pablo's things that he did a bunch of trades, right? There was a bunch of trades, a lot of, small losers and winners. There were a higher percentage of winners, but there was a couple of really big winners. And when you're trading and when you're trading options, one thing we say all the time is it's okay to make a bunch of money on one trade. And so like a name like LEU is a name that we had in November and December. And what ends up happening is people get in at 10 and they get out at 14 because it's an awesome trade, but it's okay to make a bunch of money on one trade. So part of trading like this and looking at Pablo's trades and seeing the results that he had, we're not getting out of trades until things expire or until there's a reason to get out of a trade. So a name like LEU, and I'll take off, just using this as an example. LEU is uranium. And so if we're long because of unusual option activity and because we're bullish the US uranium industry, when uranium goes from 10 to 14, that's a freaking awesome 40% return. And some would get out, but you only want to get out if you're no longer bullish on the asset that you're in. And when you're an options buyer, you have a fixed amount of risk. You could only risk the money that you play or the money that you bet, but your upside is unlimited. But too often, especially newer traders or people who might not have any success trading in the past, and then they start to use a tool like this, but they may chop themselves up and not see great results because they've never learned how to trade. They've never learned proper position management. They never learned how to trade a balanced portfolio. They don't know how to scalp gamma. So there's more to it than just, hey, use the wiretapper, you're going to make a bunch of money. Use the wiretapper and you're going to find yourself in higher probability trades than you're probably taking. But you got to get out of the way when your trade's working. You can't risk $1,000 to make $500 when you're buying options. So let me look at the questions, guys. I'm going to take a little break. Make sure I go through all the questions. James, starting with you. Okay, James' question about bullish or bearish. I'm going to touch on that. Eric, do I have a daily structure on how I'm going to go through the tool? No, it's kind of what I'm doing. What is the time period for the IV percentile? Last 12 months or going back to 2016? I'm going to ask Pablo. Great question. What's the time? Coaching clients, you guys know, I don't want to answer that without being 100% sure. What's the time period on the IV percentage? I would think it was annual, but then that would really mess up the data going year to year. So I'm guessing it's from 2016. Good question. Now I'm writing that down, Stephen, and I'll get back to you. IV percentage. Hey, Mike. Mike, do I expect the heat map to give some indication of direction? Same question. I'm going to answer the direction question as soon as I get through these questions. Cool report. That's going to help us search. John, I don't understand your question. What was the criteria for the buy? What was the sell signal? What are you talking about? Okay. Yeah, Val. It is. Pablo's trades. Okay. Oh, okay. So all of Pablo's trades. So if you can go access that video that I shared, John, you can print out all those trades. And then when you see a name, go back to the wiretapper and you're going to have to reverse engineer how he found that trade. Okay. I mean, in there's, I don't know, 40 trades going back 3 months. Okay. So the reason we have an unusual option activity tool, when I was a market maker, without a doubt, the only thing that we used to value options was unusual option activity. Okay, that was it. So in the past, I've used these scans to monitor unusual option activity and to find out about it. But what we're trying to do is we're trying to see what the activity is in a given stock. So there's always the question of direction. Direction is something that the institutions are trying to mask. So if a big hedge fund wants to buy a whole bunch of APHA, they can buy calls to get long, but they can also buy puts to get long because there's something called synthetics. So a really big put order, if somebody is buying a whole bunch of puts, right away CNBC is going to say that's a bearish trade, but it's not. They could be buying puts and also buying stock. So when we see unusual option activity, and let's use AFA as an example. Now, AFA has been seeing lots of unusual option activity lately. As far as direction, what we've been using for direction or to help with direction, I always use this high value target tool. We use this for best Bed Bath & Beyond. I'm going to get to that in a little bit. But for AFA, it's not going to be as well. I guess they're pretty freaking good here as well. So what this tool does is we're just looking at the historical volatility and 3 to 4 standard deviation moves away from that. So this is something that I use all the time. But again, it's not going to be the end all be all. A lot of it's going to be for direction. And I know a lot of you have this question about direction, but direction's more going to come from we look at our trades, and in our trades, we are long bullish silver, we're bullish platinum, bearish natural gas. Here's platinum, silver, uranium. So for instance, right now, if I see unusual option activity on any stock or ETF that's affected by commodities, because I'm bullish commodities, I'm going to be naturally bullish, whatever trade is done. But just on its own, really nailing down unusual option activity and direction is going to be a challenge, without a doubt. And the information that like Thinkorswim shares or that any scanner shares that, right away, if they tell you it's bullish or bearish, that's just a computer. That's not like I wouldn't put a lot of weight in something like that. I just wouldn't. But really, when you look at unusual option activity, what it's telling us is there's something going on there. There's some activity going on there. Somebody is making a play, whether they're making a play to the long side or to the short side. That's kind of tough to know. Usually, you can look at the direction of the stock. That's something that we use quite a bit. Um, but overall, getting for a higher probability trade, you're going to be better off doing strangles and straddles, doing both sides of the trade. And that's usually what I'll end up doing, where I might do, $1,000 on $1,000 on the calls and the puts, and then I might do a little extra on one side, whether it's being bullish or being bearish. We talk about that in the coaching room too, where I may have some more speculative decisions, but overall, Pablo's good. And Val, you called me out on it once as well. What's the reason for direction? I'm like, I'm not sure I have such a good reason for direction. I have really good reason on why the stock should increase in movement, but the direction's kind of tough. So if you find yourself in that circumstance, you want to be a buyer of options, buying calls, buying puts. Ali, in code A, it's over 3/4 in a single series. A single series, and we can use Sally Mae. It's a good example. Sally Mae, this is a single series. Do you guys all, here. So right here, guys, let's say this is 30,000. 30,000, 72 days when these are in the money, and they're in the money now, this dude is long 3 million shares of SLM stock. This person is long 3 million shares of stock at $12. We got to give him the benefit of the doubt that he knows more than we do about the direction of Sally Mae. Even look, the overall volume, and we're past halfway through the day, the overall volume isn't as big as this dude's position. So as somebody who does this or is really, really in tune with the market, I don't understand how somebody could trade without caring about this, without understanding this, without realizing that this is most likely, and there's definitely something going on in this stock, but I would think that it's a bullish order, and that's a bullish order because look at the behavior of the stock. Like I don't, we go back and exactly when that was done, but it's so influential. It's so important because even if this guy wants to get out, he can't get out. How is he going to get out? He can't get out. So this dude's got a binary bet, and his binary bet is like a $3 million bet that he's going to be in for 72 days. I certainly rather be on his side than against him. Why would this guy do such an order? Well, the only way that somebody like this would do an order like this is there needs to be a catalyst, right? And when we say catalyst, all that means is there needs to be a reason on why this should move. Sally Mae, I'm sure the volume can pick up that trade because it was just massive. We could see exactly when that trade was done. December 11th. And you could even see the stock at the time was about 12 bucks. Right now the stock's at 12.83, what, about 8% higher from there. But why? Why would somebody do? There you go. That's exactly, Guy. That's exactly correct. Yes. Yes, it is, guys. Yes. Dan, so think about what you guys just said. Why are these trades going through? Because somebody's betting on a Democratic sweep, right? How are student loans forgiven? Democrats. I'm not much of a political guy, but right? So somebody is placing a bet that there's massive relief given in student loans. This is known now as the student loan company. That's why they're doing that order. It's not random. Somebody is placing a calculated bet. And so far it's working. And I bet it continues to work because in my, history of trading, when you see an order that's that influential relative to the size of all the liquidity in there, they're usually right, because you can't be wrong on these kind of orders that many times. So the people who are right are the Michael Jordans and LeBron James, the superstars. So that makes sense to me. Now, if I couldn't find a catalyst for this name, I don't know what to think. I would really have to look into it. Usually, you see these kind of orders before big PDUFA dates, before big earnings announcements, before big data being announced. We know what this is. So when I can back into something and have the story all tied together like that, it gives me some confidence about the trade. Jay, that's not correct. Jay, hey buddy, Jay's coaching client. The question was, in this case, is it bullish because it's a call? No, it's not bullish because it's a call. It's bullish because of the price behavior. Being on the call side adds to it a little bit, but you do need to go further into it. Don't just because you'll see this many times, especially as you guys, for those who have seen unusual options activity and really, really diving into it and getting further and further, you'll notice that over time, there's tricksters that are doing orders like this, but they're actually bearish because they're trying to hide their orders through synthetic plays. Stephen saying, wouldn't loan forgiveness be bad for SLM? By the way, I thought so as well, and it's not. Stephen, it's the more I read about it, whatever subsidies they're going to get, they're not going to ask SLM to forgive. I'm sure they're going to have to, subsidize a private company. Yeah. Eric, are you saying you always look for a catalyst, not just simply showing up on the unusual option activity tool? I have to say I'm always looking for a catalyst. And Eric, you'll come across Dennis in the Facebook room. Dennis, we are always looking for double and triple catalysts. So when we find, and a double catalyst would be student loans and unusual options activity. Like those are two, like just what company would be affected most through changes in student loans out of any company? Sallie Mae. What company has one of the biggest one single series options orders relative to its overall volume? Sallie Mae. That's two catalysts. So we do look for things like that all the time. I want to make sure that we save time to go through any trades that you guys want. Let me also just say, like right now, the people asking questions are the people who have been with me for over a year. So I've had the chance to work with them for a while. You guys are asking great questions. I love it. I just want to make sure the newbies are not too overwhelmed, kind of understand what we're doing and make sure that you guys are out there as well and okay. Okay, so don't be shy. By the way, if there's questions you have or whatever, just make sure you speak up. Okay, so now tell me, let's go through now for this portion of your program. Let's go through what are you looking at? What are your favorite names right now? What names do you want to search together? James, absolutely. Are earnings, and the question is, are earnings reports considered catalyst, James? Absolutely, but you need to go through the earnings education, because an earnings is a catalyst only if the options are priced, off to where they historically trade. So if historically a name goes into earnings with a 70 implied vol and it's chilling at a 62 implied volatility a week away from earnings, and there's unusual option activity, well, those two kind of make sense, right? But if something historically goes into earnings at 70 vol and it's 2 weeks away and it's sitting at 68, 69 vol, and there's unusual option activity, well, that's not going to be as attractive as in the previous example. Okay. All right. I see the names coming through. Hopefully these names were all found using the unusual option, using the wiretapper. Okay. So I'm going to make that assumption. First one is Tilray. So this is what I'll do. Like if Pablo's like, oh, check out Tilray, I go through and, a little bit here, a little bit. I want to see more. Right away, my feelings are about cannabis. Democrats win, good for cannabis. And now Tilray, I just searched it, not interested. It's got nothing. Tilray's dead. So I'd be done right now, done. Okay. Teva's that's a big trade. Teva's catching some, and right now drugs, pharmaceuticals, biotechs have been really, really good. Okay. More of a volume play, perhaps. It's really just the volume, huh? That's interesting. So why this is interesting, right? Like really what I want to do is I want you to see each of these names. Let's get, guys, we have a lot of people on here, so I'm going to go one name per person. Okay. But I want you to see, as I'm looking through these names, what I'm pulling out. Why is this important? IV change. Why is this, guys? Ignore everything. This. Ignore it, guys. Ignore everything. So this matters, and I don't know what it was, but there was big news out of Teva yesterday. What was the news? So nothing matters except figuring this out. Why did this move? How do we figure that out? I'm going to go to Twitter right now and look up Teva. Everybody's saying unusual option activity, but why? Yes, we see you all, but why? Does anybody know? You guys aren't helping me. No, fuck that. That's not the reason. Teva Pharmaceuticals. 1 second, guys. I'm just off screen trying to figure this out. Teva U.S. Food and Drug Administration lawsuit. Could that possibly be it? I don't think so. Yeah, guys, just because it's on halftime report, that doesn't matter. That's not, you know what I mean? It's not real. It's like, why? What's the reason? I use Stat News. It's a good website, by the way. That's crazy that this thing moved because of no news. Is that possible? That's a big freaking move. Okay, so the reason I'm kind of baffled by this one, guys, or interested in this one, I shouldn't say baffled. Implied move is think of implied move as an expected move. So the amount that Teva can move before the next expiration cycle is, for example, 10%. Well, if it just moved up 30, now the expectation is like for a 30% move. Like that's a big, big, big jump in IV. So when something jumps like that, it usually does that when there's a catalyst or where there's a reason. Now, I mean, maybe it's just from that order. What did Teva? This name's interesting. I mean, so the order 2 was done yesterday, and it goes straight up, and it's straight up today. I mean, I kind of like this, to tell you the truth, because I can't figure out why. And if I can't figure out why, I'm, and they did it again. Look at you guys getting funky with it. It's kind of interesting. I mean, I don't know why, but usually when you see this kind of activity and there's no news, people know something. Sure wish we would have known about it 2 days ago. I mean, this is a name that personally, with how strong the market is, I'd rather be a buyer than a seller. So maybe I would just keep it on the radar because it does give you these times to get back in. And if you don't get in, no harm, no foul, but it's not a bad play. I'm just not dying to only buy puts. Marcel, that makes sense. I like that. They're involved with the vaccine in Israel. I hear, isn't like Israel almost like fully vaccinated or something like that? I mean, I like it. I think this is actually kind of interesting, guys. If if I was gonna, Jonathan, what do you like? I like these. I would join this fella and buy these and maybe risk $1,000 in the upside and $500 to hedge on the downside. Um, that trade seems to make sense to me. I mean, it's actually not a bad do. Here, I like this even better, guys. 12s and selling the 18s. And again, everyone's big boys and big girls here. They have to manage their own accounts. But if you do 74 cents and 10 cents, that's 64 cents. That's $640 of risk. You can never lose more. And if this sucker gets above 18, that's going to be $640 of risk. And you could make, what, like $5,400. That doesn't suck. I like that, guys. Here and here. Buy, sell. Nice call, Tiva. Yeah. Yeah, people were talking about Tiva through the wiretapper. I like it. I mean, and think of it this way, guys, and this is why I love using this tool. There's substance behind it. Even those guys are out there. If you're a really good technician or whatever, good, use technical analysis now, but at least have a reason for being in there. There's a reason why this guy did this. This ain't random, for sure. I like this trade. This makes sense to me. I want to get to some of the other names. Val, you're so funny. You want me to repeat it? Val says, is it worth capping the upside for just 10 cents? So Val knows, obviously, I'm going to say it is because I just said it. But I don't think that you're capping the upside for 10 cents, Val. I think that I'm reducing my exposure by 18%. You see what I mean? By the way, I would never sell these on their own. I would never. And 640, I would never sell these. It's just not worth it. But I'm taking my investment from $750 down to $650. That's quite a bit of savings. Val, does that make sense? So I normally I don't sell options for 10 cents. Like, no, thank you. But reducing my cost basis by 20%, I'll do that. Sign me up. Yeah. Oh, good. A lot of you guys are beat me to the punch on this Tiva. Good. Good for you. Good for you. I like it. The other name that we're talking a lot in the coaching room is this BBBY. BBBY traded down to 1895 Monday, and it's right up. They have earnings coming up January 7th too. If you look on BBBY, you're seeing really getting quite a bit of activity. Let me also point out, guys, we talk in clusters. So we look at this as a cluster, as kind of one. So just throwing that in there as well. Now, the way this worked, guys, is I lost a lot of your questions, a lot of the tickers when we started talking about BBBY because more questions came in. AQMS. What's that? Aqua something? AQ, Jonathan, dyslexic. AQMS. Okay. We're not going to find any here. We know that. Marcel, this is you? Yeah. So here, there's another good example. This thing's straight up, huh? Guys, how awesome is this? I mean, and this is, you know, Monday morning quarterback, but zero. Look at that IV change. Okay, this is December 22nd, which is right here. IV change is still going higher. It's still going higher. It's still going higher. Okay, where there's smoke, there's fire. So yeah, I mean, good name. It looks like the, you know, the train's left the station. But fuck, that's a, you know, really good move. Awesome cluster from the breakout for sure. Eat it anytime. Or I don't even see in here. Yeah, Gyra, I don't even see it catching. All right. And CVM's good, Val. We looked at CVM, right? So this one, actually how we're going to design the point system, because it keeps popping up on here over and over and over, we're actually going to take points away from that after a while, just because what we've seen is we're really trying to find the names that just pop up, that nobody is really noticing. Like that last one, that the water one that we just went over was a really good example. Something that just starts popping up that doesn't necessarily have the biggest, that doesn't have the biggest market cap. So this would actually lose scoring because it comes up so much over and over. Okay. That's how we use it. You know, I'd really watch out for these different industries that keep on popping. You know, something to highlight, and then we'll do in the dashboard too, is solar. Like the industries that are in play. Solar is in play, cannabis is in play. Commodities, we really, in my opinion, want to trade from the long side. So when those pop up, you know, those are really attractive. Right before start class, I asked the coaching room for a couple of their options trades, favorite trades. Daniel likes BBBY, and then Fucell's another one, and AT&T, of course. Oh, nice. Here, guys, this is a Daniel's stocks that he likes too. AI, is that the Wall Street wiretabber? All right. So guys, we'll continue to do these. I mean, overall, this is, just kind of holding your hand, making sure that I'm here to answer whatever questions that you have. Again, guys, if you don't get the trades or if you don't have access to that high value target tool, we use this with the unusual option activity tool. And this thing, for anybody who has the unusual option activity tool, it's $100. We don't even put it on the website, but for anybody who has the unusual option activity tool, this is $100. It's in TOS. It's just a one-time payment, and then you get that too. All right, I think that's what I got for you, my friends. Yeah. Oh, cool. Steven, I'm going to get you into coaching too, where you're going to have a much better experience. Awesome. All right, guys, thank you so much. Again, if you have additional questions, just email support@mastersthan trading. Happy to help. Happy to answer any questions you have, and we'll continue doing these classes so everyone's comfortable. Let's make some money. Good. Thank you, guys. I appreciate all the kind words. I wish I can find an easy way to share all this love that you're sending, besides going through one by one. But thank you. I appreciate it. Pablo and I are genuinely trying to make a difference in the value that we give you, in the stuff that we share. So I appreciate you guys for hanging out with me and seeing it, and hopefully making some money in the process. That'd be awesome. Awesome. All right, guys, enjoy the day. Thank you so much.